What if your phone rang and the voice on the other end knew everything about you? That's scary, isn't it? But this happened to someone. Let me tell you that someone's story. It was a late night, and he was in his room on his laptop when his phone rang. He looked down to see a call from an unknown number. It showed up as hidden. He hesitated for a moment, wondering who could be calling him at this hour. But curiosity got the better of him, and he decided to answer the call. On the other end of the line was a person whose voice sounded like they were whispering directly into his ear, even though he had his phone at a normal distance away. It was then that he heard the voice say his name. It wasn't just any name, it was his real name. And it wasn't a name that this person should have known unless they had been stalking him. Now, at first, he thought that maybe it was a prank call. But then the person on the phone started telling him things about himself, things that only he would know. The voice said things like, "You have a scar on your left shoulder," which he did. He had an old scar from a childhood accident that not many people knew about. The voice continued, "You re-wearing a blue shirt right now, and your hair is messy as usual." It was as if the person on the phone was in his room with him, observing every little detail. He tried to keep calm and asked the person on the phone how they knew all this. But instead of answering, the person began to laugh, a chilling, eerie laugh that sent shivers down his spine. Then the voice spoke again, this time imitating the tone of one of his close friends. It said, "Hey man, didn't know you were on the phone. Who is it?" The real friend was sitting right next to him. He hadn't told anyone that he had received a mysterious call. So how did the person on the phone know this? This went on for some time. The voice kept switching between their normal whispering voice, the imitation of his friend, and sometimes even his own voice. Like they were mocking him, taunting him, reveling in his fear and confusion. They kept saying things that made him more and more uneasy. Things like, "You can't hang up now. It's too late. You're not safe here, and there's no escape. I'm everywhere. You can't hide." As the conversation continued, the voice grew louder, more aggressive, and the imitations became more spot on, even mimicking the voice of his mother. At some point, he could no longer take it. He hung up the phone, terrified. He wanted to ignore it, pretend that the call hadn't happened. But then the phone rang again. He hesitated, torn between the fear of picking up and the morbid curiosity of who it could be. He answered. This time the voice was even more menacing. It said, "I'm inside now." He froze. Was the person who had been calling him inside his house? He quickly ended the call and rushed out of his room to check. He looked everywhere, under the bed, in the closet, even in the bathroom, but found no one. The window was slightly open, and he wondered if someone had snuck in and was playing a really cruel joke on him. But he lived in a remote area. No one knew where he lived, let alone that he was home alone. Shaken and confused, he returned to his room, thinking it must have been a prank call from some unknown number. He picked up his phone to check, but the call was logged under his own number. It was as if the person who had called him had used his own phone to call himself. That's all for the day. See you next time.